So this is going to be a different kind of video. It's actually going to be one where I already have everything planned out, exactly what I'm going to say. And I've typed this all out myself, and I'm just going to kind of read off my thoughts here. So this is a very important topic. Let's talk about a very popular topic in modern day politics. A topic that dominates most left-leaning talking points, whether on TV in Washington or in the classrooms. The topic that I'm referring to is social justice. We hear it everywhere. It sounds good, right? It's constantly praised by politicians, celebrities, and activists. And after all, it does have the word justice in it, so it must be for the greater good. Well, ironically named, social justice stands in direct opposition to actual justice. Don't believe me? Well, let's prove it to you then. The premise of justice is that if you do what you need to do and you take action, you get what you deserve. That is justice. You take action and you get what you deserve. Social justice, however, stands in direct contradiction to actual justice. The premise behind social justice is that you take action and you may or may not get what you deserve based on what your social group deserves. That's evil. The idea that we are not going to judge the individual, we are going to instead judge what is most apropos to society based on the group to which you belong, and to some cases where you are arbitrarily placed. That's actual evil. Now, if you think this claim of mine is false, let me justify it with some examples. Social justice praises affirmative action. They say it's an extremely important way to have equality, and it's the right thing to have, right? It's the just thing, right? Well, let's take a look. A Princeton University study measured how race and ethnicity affect admissions by using SAT scores as a benchmark. The word bonus is used to describe how many extra SAT points an applicant's race is worth. They came to the conclusion that African Americans receive a bonus of 230 points on their SATs. Hispanics received a bonus of 185 points. Asian Americans, however, were penalized by 50 points. Now, according to social justice warriors, this is just. However, if we look back at our definition of justice, affirmative action stands in complete contradiction of it. Students that work hard and take action to get higher scores should be rewarded for it, right? After all, that would be justice. Let's talk about another example. An article written sometime back in the Washington Post, it told of the story of a young Asian boy, right? He grew up in a very difficult financial situation, very poor neighborhood, where he had to study in his closet for fear of gunshots, so very rough childhood. He worked extremely hard and scored fantastically on the SATs. However, he was not accepted into the college he was trying to get into. Again, justice says you take action and you get what you deserve. However, in this situation, that Asian boy, he took action, and social justice told him that because of his skin color, he was not eligible to be accepted. Had he been an African American and been granted several hundreds of extra points on his test, on top of his fantastic performance, he would have made it in. That is the premise of social justice. It doesn't actually care about rewarding those who deserve credit for the actions they've taken. Still not convinced? Well, let's talk about another example then. The Michael Brown shooting is a perfect example. According to over 24 black witnesses, the cop's story was accurate. The FBI report also found that Michael Brown had discharged powder on his fingertips. This only occurs when your fingers are within inches of the gun barrel, right? They came to the conclusion he was reaching for the gun, right? But weren't his hands in the air? Social justice warriors will tell you yes, but the FBI autopsy report scanned the bullet tissue and confirmed that his arms were not in the air based on the ways that the bullet went through the tissue. So let's review. The social justice perspective on this event was that it was an evil act of racism, and that the cop should be jailed for what he did. However, that is the exact opposite of justice. If a man robs a gas station, assaults the worker inside, then proceeds to attack a cop and try to take his gun, again, this is according to over 24 black witnesses, I think that the cop is justified to use force. That is actual justice. not social justice, which would suggest that the cop be punished, even though what he did was completely just due to the circumstances. Social justice also praises a group by the name of Black Lives Matter. This movement constantly demanded several things, such as white people literally just giving black people money because of slavery. Also, giving black people free tuition for schools. However, I think we can all agree that this isn't justice. Why should I have to give you money because you feel oppressed? The answer? I shouldn't. But social justice supports this despite it being in complete contradiction to actual justice. Ben Shapiro said it best: the solution to past injustice is not modern-day injustice. And that is exactly what social justice praises, suggests, and supports. So let's wrap things up. Keeping in mind that actual justice is getting what you deserve for taking action, we now know that social justice does just the opposite. We will only be able to achieve actual justice if we stop focusing on the evil idea of social justice.